And if I feel like I'm having a meaningful life, I'm more motivated to go to it. I'm more motivated to go for it, you know? So find that inspiration, find that inner meaning in the actions that you take every single day. And when you do that, you won't need to have to get yourself geared up to do something, because you'll see the meaning behind it. You'll see the importance, the true importance of doing those things. And if you do that, then you won't have any problems with motivation, because you would just, you would just be guided to it anyway. How to be motivated and how to stay motivated. Unfortunately, motivation can sometimes be a hard thing to come by. And the reason why this is because sometimes we just don't feel like doing what it is that we need to do, even though we know we need to do it. And I feel like I have some ways in which you can stay motivated for whatever it is that you are trying to be motivated for. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be talking about things that a lot of people need motivation for. So one of the things that I'm going to be talking about is studying, and the second thing that I'm going to be talking about is health. Being motivated to have a good body, eat healthy stuff, and why sometimes we don't do the things that we need to do for our own health, and why we sometimes just can't be bothered to study. And what you can personally do to help you stay motivated, or at least to put yourself in a frame of mind where you are motivated so you can get on with whatever it is that you need to get on with. Alright, so one of the first things I'm going to discuss is a pretty basic thing, and it's something that I learned from NLP and from Tony Robbins. So this is all about pain and pleasure, right? So Tony Robbins says we will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So basically, if working out or studying is really, really painful to you in your mind, and you just feel like, it's the last thing that you want to do on planet Earth, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to be motivated for it, because you find like hardly any pleasure in it. So basically what you do is, if you want to find more pleasure in and less pain in studying or losing weight, then you need to write down basically all of the things that you will gain if you do whatever it is that you need to do. So if you study, if you work out, if you eat healthy food, just go into, make a huge list on all the things that will happen if you actually do all those things, right? And what are the painful consequences you will go through if you don't do those things. And basically what you want to do is, if you get like some paper. So I have a journal which I usually write stuff on. So if you've got this, then if you've got a journal that's kind of similar to this one, then you can, write on this page perhaps all the pleasurable things you'll get from doing whatever it is you need to do. And on the other side, you could perhaps write all the painful consequences of not taking action, of not doing what you need to do, right? So if you do that, and if you write like a full page on it, then that will really help you out. At least it will give you some clarity onto why you need to actually do what it is you need to do. However, this is just for surface level results, I think, because I feel like we all kind of instinctively know pretty much why the consequences of not doing something and the consequences of actually following through and doing something. We kind of already have, sort of some idea of what those things are. So how can we get deeper into that so we can get even more motivated? Because I don't think just looking at pain and pleasure itself is going to give you, it's going to give you some immediate motivation, but long-term motivation perhaps not. Because I found this, I used to listen to a lot of Tony Robbins stuff. In fact, I still do, because I still think some of the stuff he says is really valuable. But I feel like it motivates me for like maybe about a day, but then the next day I don't feel as motivated anymore, and I have to go through it again in order to get that motivation back. So let's dive deeper into motivation and this whole pain and pleasure thing, right? So for me personally, what really gets me motivated and what keeps me motivated is finding meaning behind what I'm actually doing, like significant meaning. So if I actually find the true meaning of it, and if it's something that really, really inspires me, then I'm able to follow through a lot quicker, I'm able to do it more, and I'm able to actually make something that's more worthwhile. So I write articles on my website, and of course I make videos for YouTube. If I get a huge, meaningful reason to do it, then I make better work. It's just something that I do, and I want to go there because I feel like I have a higher purpose, and it's making me want to do something because it's so, I feel like it's so valuable and it's so important for other people, for me to share this with other people, basically. What is the meaning that you can put behind perhaps studying, right? So it could be, you think about the future, right? You think, well, if I do studying now, even if it's just for half an hour, what are the consequences of me doing this? Well, I'm going to feel better about myself. I'm going to be able to retain more information. I might be able to do better in my exam that's coming up. So whatever the most powerful reason for you to do it, really dive into it, really go deep into the meaning of that and the inspiration in that, really feel it, and really think about it. And if you do that, I feel like that would really, really help you, because it's not enough to just list things, right? It's not just enough to list, okay, so these are the painful things that are going to be happening. So let's say you want better health, right? Okay, so what are the bad things that are going to happen if I don't look after my health? Well, I'm going to be fat. I'm going to be unhealthy. I'm not going to have energy. You write all those things down, but that's only a surface level thing. You need to go deeper. You need to really, really think about those things. You need to really go into the really painful consequences of it. You really need to dive into it. So if, let's say, you've got a list now of all the painful things that will happen or the pleasurable things that will happen, both of those things, if you do or don't do whatever it is that you need to do. So then you go into it more deeper. So let's say, okay, I'm trying to lose weight, for example. I'm trying to lose weight, and I'll be fat if I don't try and do something about this now. I will be more fat, or I will have less energy. And you have to really think about, so let's say I'm not going to have as much energy if I don't work out. Okay, so what else about that is really bad? What's bad about not having energy? Well, I can't do what I need to do. I don't have as much mental clarity. I won't be able to put in my best effort. I'll probably eat even more junk food. And if I eat even more junk food, then I'm not going to be living for very long. I'm not going to be any use to society if I don't have the energy to put my best foot forward. You've got to think of everything. Really go deep into it, right? One of the things that I like to think about especially when I feel really, really unmotivated to do something, is I think about a meaningful movie or a meaningful piece of music. So some of the music that I really like is from The Lion King or from The Prince of Egypt. I really find those pieces of music, especially the score of those movies, to be really, really meaningful and powerful. And in my life, that I want to be able to create a life that is meaningful. I want to have meaning in my life so much that it will be on par with, those kinds of pieces of music, And it's kind of like a weird example. Or if you find a meaningful, scene in a movie, and it makes it makes you have goose flesh or whatever. I strive to make things and do things that make me have that sensation, or at least I feel I strive to create or try to create things that give me that sense of I've really created something meaningful. So you watch a movie and you think, yeah, that scene was really, really moving. I aim to make things that are moving, even if it's just moving for me, right? So if I do that, then I feel like I've made something worthwhile. If I do that and I incorporate that kind of mindset into exercise, into being healthy, into studying, into my own personal development, into making what I make, into my writing on my articles on my website, if I do that, then I feel like I'm having a much more meaningful life. And if I feel like I'm having a meaningful life, I'm more motivated to go to it. I'm more motivated to go for it, So find that inspiration, find that inner meaning in the actions that you take every single day. And when you do that, you won't need to have to get yourself geared up to do something, because you'll see the meaning behind it. You'll see the importance, the true importance of doing those things. And if you do that, then you won't have any problems with motivation, because you would just be guided to it anyway. Now, of course, these are things that we always need to be reminded of. So, if you've taken some notes while you've been listening or watching this video, then make some notes, then look back on your notes when you are feeling unmotivated, or perhaps rewatch this video again so you can become, so you can be reminded of these fundamental truths that help with motivation. So I feel like we've all had times in our life when we've kind of half-assed things, we've done things half-heartedly, and usually the results are half-hearted efforts. But if you really put in the effort and do something and try your best, that will help you grow as an individual, right? And that will help with your motivation because you will feel strengthened from doing something properly, right? So strive to do things and do them in the proper fashion and put the effort in, because when you do that, you have better results. And if you get better results and you can see those rewards coming, even if it takes a while, you'll be more motivated to go to them. So this is sort of like, I guess this wasn't very coherent, but this was my video on motivation, how to be motivated, how to stay motivated, and what you can do to improve your motivation. So if there's anything that you thought was a bit confusing, then let me know and I'll try and clarify for you a bit more. I'm trying to work on my articulation because I do have some issues with my speech sometimes, and I don't think I'm really putting my point across, which I'm trying to get better at as I make these videos. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like help with me personally, then please head over to www.christineloveridge.com/shop. Please like this video and comment because that really helps the channel out. Make sure that you do that with all the creators that you like and enjoy watching, because that really does, in fact, help out their channel and it helps the algorithm. Anyway, I shall talk to you again very soon, and yeah, bye bye.